dividing decimals by whole numbers. So kind of specific here. So dividing decimals by whole numbers, and here's our example. So if we had a decimal like 9 76 hundredths, so something like, I'll write it to the side here, 9.76, and we're going to divide that by a whole number. And that whole number, I'll go back and make no more space here, sorry, is going to be 8. So divide by 8, and like a lot like regular long division, but just making sure we put the decimal in the right place. So as we do that, and I just erased that, so 9.76 divided by 8. The one rule is we want to remember to bring our decimal point straight up. So wherever our decimal point is, it's right after the ones place right over there. So we're just going to bring it straight up, and it goes right in that spot there. So we're not going to move it, but if we forget about it, it's going to mess up the place value of our number, and we won't get the correct answer. So once we do that, we bring it straight up and we divide. So we'll do this long division here. 8 goes into 9 one time. 8 times 1 is 8, and then we subtract. It's also real important to kind of line your numbers up the right way, and if you need to get some graph paper to do this, that's certainly a good idea. Making sure your spacing's good and making sure your numbers are organized so you don't put numbers in the wrong place and make errors with your subtraction you're bringing down. 9 minus 8 is giving me 1. Then remember, after we subtract, we got to bring down. So we bring down the 7, and I get 17. So now I've got 8 into 17, and that goes 2 times. And you'll notice now our 2, which I can write neater, is after the decimal point. So I have 1.2. I'm still dividing, but that decimal point's important. If I didn't bring that up, it'd be 12. 12 is different than 1.2. 8 times 2 is 16. So now I'm going to subtract again. 7 minus 6 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And don't forget to bring down. Got 16 here. So 8 into 16 is even. And actually, you can get that dot out of there. 8 goes into 16 2 times. It cancels out. So my answer is 1 and 22 hundredths. If I didn't bring my decimal in, it'd be 122, which is certainly not the same as 1 and 22 hundredths. So that decimal point is very important. Make sure you bring it straight up and then divide. Try this example here on your own. You can pause the video, see how you do, and then unpause it, see if you do it right. Go ahead. Okay, so we had 6 and 44 hundredths. We're going to divide that by 7. And what's the first step? Making sure our decimal point comes straight up. Every time, decimal point. I don't have a decimal here, so I can just bring my decimal point straight up and I can divide. 7 goes into 6 0 times. Actually does not go in. So you get a 0 here. You can subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. Trying to keep things lined up, which I can do a better job of. Apologize. 6, bring down 4, and now 7 into 64. Well, 7 times 9 would get me 63. Get me close. And then 4 minus 3 is 1. 6 minus 6 is 0. And then I bring down my 4 here. 7 goes into 14 evenly 2 times. 7 times 2 is 14. And that cancels out here. So my answer is 92 hundredths, 0.92. I did put my decimal in the right place and got my accurate answer. If I didn't do that, it would have been 92, which is a very different answer. So hopefully you got that correct when you solve. Just make sure you bring the decimal up and then divide accurately. Make sure you write your numbers and your spacing correctly so you don't make any subtraction errors or errors when you bring your number down.